One day Paul will learn that when it's go time, it's go time.
I was driving around with my neighbor when I was looking at that car, and he doesn't hear very well. And we had a number of incidents where I was driving, and he said, take a left here. And I said, right here. And he says, no, at the next one. And then I drive by, and he says, no, I meant that one. And I said, dude, we got to work on this. So anyway, how was your fourth?
It was good. 10 fingers, 10 toes still apparent.
Mm-hmm.
Dog still alive, kid still alive, wife still alive.
Did you actually do fireworks of your own?
No, I mean, we have in the past, but this year just was... Being on a Wednesday just kind of ruins the whole thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And, yep. How was your fourth?
Well, as you saw on Instagram, I spent most of it working on a laminate floor in my... Jeez, hold on. Sorry. Just a bunch of stuff was about to slide off the desk there. They should make things flat instead of rounded so they don't move around when they're on a flat surface. Anyway, just even like pile up tablets or phones or something and they kind of slide,
Yeah, that's how I know the Earth is round.
There you go, Kyrie Irving. Thanks. What was I saying? Yeah, so the laminate floor thing, this is a little bit of this is a stretch for us doing this. So we're going to see how it goes. But the trick is going to be when we get to the far wall because we're going to have to cut those things lengthwise.
Yep.
Like that on the whole length. And we do not have a saw for that. So we're just going to do it by hand. No, we're going to can you imagine? It'd be like building the pyramids. No, we're going to ask. We're going to either rent one or I bet one of my neighbors here has.
Yeah. If you only need to make how many cuts? Just one?
Well, in each board, you mean?
Well,
so it's some number of boards. So it's probably 3 or 4 boards down the wall. But we also have some cuts to make that are kind of around a door and corners. And eventually, we have the thing that could do the 45-degree angle cuts on small things. But what you can, we borrowed this saw from my brother-in-law. I sort of thought it was going to be the type of thing you kind of, you push the wood through. Mm-hmm. And it's there's no way for it to go through. So you can just kind of angle it at a zero, from 45 negative to 45 positive degrees, or whatever it is. And, it has a bit of a throw to it, but I think the piece of wood you can cut is 12 inches at most, something like that.
I'm impressed though, Paul. You're DIYing it. That's good for you.
Yeah. Well, don't be impressed. We're just being cheap. But I always sort of viewed this as
same thing.
This will be the next thing we screw up, and then we'll have to hire a professional to finish it. But actually, I would say, assuming we can get the saw, I think we're going to be able to do it.
Yeah. The only thing I was going to suggest, but it sounds like you need more than that many cuts. Like if you only needed like 2 or 3 cuts, you could take that stuff to Home Depot and they'd cut it for you.
Oh, yeah. So if it was a straight wall, we probably went in the wrong direction, actually. We probably should have started at the other side. But if we had done that, it probably would have been 3 pieces of laminate. And yeah, we probably could have gotten away with that. That's a good example of, that whole measure twice, cut once philosophy. Yeah. Especially when you're bringing it to a distant location to cut, you want to make sure it's the right. You don't want to be off by a quarter of an inch then.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something else I was going to tell you. Oh, yeah, Paul, I think we're all going to die.
What's up? What's wrong?
So have you looked at the temperatures lately? Like for the next 4 days?
Yeah.
So quick recap here, folks. It has been hotter than hell. Approximately 9.5% humidity. And Paul, fortunately, I'm going golfing this weekend, but it's 97 billion degrees today. And tomorrow the high is going to be 82. And for that dramatic of a weather change to happen, I'm assuming that lightning is just going to hit my house 19 times between now and that weather change.
There is going to be a front of some kind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's going to be called Normandy, I think is actually the name of the front that's going to come through.
It's like that weather pattern that occurred in like the day after or whatever it was called, where, you could see it coming, like.
I got to tell you, though, we lucked out, are going to luck out if the, as my father refers to them, the weather terrorists are accurate. Because I'm going golfing on Saturday at 1:30 p.m., which is a very risky thing to commit to so far out in advance, and it's looking like it's going to be gorgeous. I'm very excited about this.
Yeah, after 10 days of 90-something. Yeah. Someone just came up on Twitter for some reason, but I think I was we were making fun of each other's neighborhood monocultures, and I said something like, well, I want to move someplace warmer, and someone's like, warmer? It's been like 97 degrees. Well, yeah, yes. I mean, we have to take a broader view. I find it interesting that everyone who lives here, where I live now in Pennsylvania, has said that both the winter was more like colder and worse for snow, and the summer so far has been warmer and much hotter than has ever happened historically. It sort of implying that we're the reason that this happened, that us by showing up have somehow made the weather worse.
My wife had a good statement. She said, at some point in my life, I want to live where 1 inch of snow ruins society.
Yeah. That place is Seattle, by the way.
Well, and Atlanta.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know where we're going to end up, but I think it's going to be south of here at some point, for sure.
If I have any say, please be on the beach so I can not visit you, but at least be jealous, I guess, maybe.
I probably won't be moving closer to you. I think this is probably the apex of that, the next state over.
Yeah, I believe we are far enough apart that if a nuke hit one of our houses, it wouldn't take both of us out. Now, maybe the radiation might blow over, more likely your house than mine. So I guess maybe if a nuke hit your house, I'd still be fine no matter what.
Yeah, it's part of our site continuation policy. We can never be within a blast radius of each other on a permanent basis.
Yep. As you can tell, folks, there's a lot going on as the second half of a holiday week, and the holiday fell on a Wednesday.
Yep.
But to just one quick thing, there was something that popped up on my taskbar today, which was it's annoying, but whatever. It said, "Hey, download whatever Edge for your phone," which was great. Good, Microsoft. The problem is that I use Edge on my phone every day, and I use it with the same MSA account. And it's like, if you're going to take the time to show me ads, at least take the time to realize that I'm already doing this, and this is a complete waste of effort. And we have the best AI. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. I mean, my complaint all along has been that there shouldn't be ads, period, especially in a product you're paying for.
Mm-hmm.
This is a different issue, really. It's a good one, and it sort of speaks to the lack of intelligence of that stuff.
I believe my daughter is actively chasing the dog as fast as she can through this household.
Sure.
But
sure.
And then, Paul, you're playing the PlayStation 4 again. Bring it back.
Yeah, I'm going to do this for a little while. I kind of talked about it, and it's funny. I get because the controller is so different. I actually feel like a numbness in this finger when I use this controller for a long period of time.
Good old carpal tunnel.
Yeah, I thought I had defeated it, but by switching controllers, I had brought it back upon myself, so that was good. And then I had mentioned before we go away to Europe this summer, I think I'm going to get a Nintendo Switch. So I'll probably put up a forum post. I'm looking for some recommendations that any people might have about which games are the right games to get. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. In some ways, with the PlayStation, there's not much to say. For whatever it's worth, I feel like these things being the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox, are functionally equivalent. And the games are different in some cases, right? Obviously, most games are not cross-compatible, but are available on both platforms. Sony has its own big thing around exclusives, and I look at that stuff personally, and I don't see a lot there that I'm super interested in, but I know people do. I don't discount that. But and there are differences in the controllers and differences in the services in some cases, but I think broad strokes, these things are actually they're super familiar, they're super similar.
Yeah, I mean they're both gaming apparatuses, and that's it.
Yep.
Speaking of, this is a nice little segue here, Paul. This came up on Reddit, and I'm pretty sure it's on mine as well. So I think Microsoft announced that Microsoft Rewards is coming to the Xbox. I don't know, I read this somewhere, and I may have been something you wrote. Whatever.
I did. I was gonna say I did write this up.
But here's what the only thing that matters about this. So this is a screen grab from the Xbox One console. You can see it says Microsoft Rewards up there, and the image they use is actually people playing with a PlayStation controller.
Are you serious? Oh, that's amazing. So they described a generic people playing video games stock photo and didn't even think.
Yep, that it might actually be a PlayStation controller.
It's a nice gray color, though. It's like that. Remember that controller I pointed out in the Microsoft store? It was an Xbox One wireless controller. It was kind of a gray color.
Yeah.
And then they had like the green accent colors. It's nice.
So word on the street, or rumored, is yes, this does look gray, but people think this is actually the white one, and it's just they applied some filtering or whatever. It's grayed out, but because there was only, I think, one like 20th anniversary PlayStation whatever gray controller. Anyways, but it's definitely not an Xbox controller in any capacity.
That kind of thing's always amazing, you know.
Yep.
Remember back in the day, the Mac guys used to point out Microsoft would publish like a promo image of some kind.
Oh yeah.
And they would look at the EXIF data and they'd be like, "Oh, this was made, edited on a Mac."
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, it's just like in the hallmark of the Windows Phone era, and half of Microsoft is tweeting from an iPhone. There was always,
when a Mac user goes to an ATM machine to get money so they can pay Apple, and that ATM machine is running Windows. So, these things go both ways, folks.
Yep. And then just one small puppy update. So we've been putting gates up around our house because we don't want the dog going into specific rooms or whatever times. And you know who forgets that gates are up in this house and just is wrecking them with his shins? This guy.
Oh, I thought you meant your daughter. I was going to say for your daughter, these gates would be like that wall that separated King Kong from the natives, you know? She was like kind of hammering on it.
I went to go get this beverage out of the fridge before the show because I've got like this weird dry allergy cough or something, either that or I'm dying. And I was just, I'm sitting there thinking like, all right, I got to get the show up and running. And then I just walked right into it. And I think the dog heard its first curse word.
Yeah, so we put a gate up for our dog as well, but we only put one up and it's on the stairs. We don't want her coming upstairs at night. Mostly because she would paw at our door. Like we close our doors to our bedrooms and she would just scratch at them, to get in. And originally we did it to protect the cats so the cats would have a safe space. But now we leave it open all day and we put it up at night. But I was working, like I said, in the basement all day yesterday. And I am so sore. Like I do so little physically that like a day of bending down and hammering and, whatever. I actually cried out loud when I stepped over that gate this morning. It's like it's such a contortion on the best of days, to get over this thing. We're all tall here, or at least, so it's not horrible. But I I almost killed myself. So imagine like the gate, the gate's on the stairs. Like if you screw up the landing on this thing, you're dead.
Yeah.
Well,
that's how you keep it spicy.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing to make your weekend more. I keep thinking it's Monday too, as we were talking about. It's whatever day it is. It's January 3rd for all that I know, and nothing spices things up like putting death traps in your house. So
yeah. Just keep things interesting.
Yep. You got anything else for today, Paul?
Just one quick thing. The Casper mattress I ordered is arriving today, according to UPS. I cannot wait. I laid down in that terrible mattress last night and rolled into its mid-bed crevice that's like the size of, the Grand Canyon for the last time last night, I hope. So I cannot wait.
This is very old man of me, but I'm very curious because we're not going to do it immediately, but we've been throwing crap away and doing whatever, and then we got a dog and other expenses. But at some point here in the near future, we're going to buy a new mattress.
Yep.
And
they're expensive. Like a good mattress is $1,000, $1,500 or whatever.
Well, there can be a lot more than that too.
Yeah. So Casper sells a higher end version now that is $2,500, and I would have to have like a serious back problem with no excuse to spend money like that. But I did look this thing up on Consumer Reports, and actually the normal Casper mattress and the newer, better one are both rated identically. So I felt okay about just getting that, and we'll see. I mean, we already have two of them, actually. My son and daughter both have one of these mattresses.
This is what my wife said to me. Because right now, actually, my wife and I, TMI, but who gives a shit? It's a family-friendly show here. We have a queen. We don't even have a king in our bedroom. So it's like we're a little close, but whatever. I mean, she's my wife. It's fine. Mm-hmm. But, we were looking at these exact, because there's like Casper, there's Purple, there's Tufton. Like there's
Lisa, there's like 10 or 15 of them now. It's crazy.
Yeah, they're all probably very similar, but that's aside from the point. We're looking at it, and you're right. We were going to get a king, and it was going to be about $1,000.
Yeah.
Or as my wife put it, one iPhone X.
Yep.
She's like,
I guess the other way to look at it.
She's like, look, we don't have. We could just not get phones this fall, and we could just, get
Yeah.
And then
Actually,
yeah.
I paid for this mattress by selling my own phones.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah. I sold my iPhone 7 Plus
Hmm?
and my Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus, both of which I paid for out of my own
Yeah.
pocket. And
What'd you get for the
that
7 Plus? I'm curious.
what did I get for it?
Yeah.
I want to say I can look this up for you exactly if you want to know. I
No,
want to
no,
say it
ballpark
was
it.
yeah, 300 maybe.
Oh, I was
I'll
hoping
I'll
to.
look. I'll tell you offline. I'll look it
Yeah.
up. I
The only
I got
reason I
more.
say that is typically like when the iPhone X2 or whatever comes out, I kind of
Yeah.
pencil in like thinking, okay, I'm going to sell my old phone, and I was hoping to get about 275 for it. But if you only got 300 for a 7 Plus, that might be a little tougher to get. But we'll see.
Here, I can tell you exactly. It's right here. 290.
Oh, what'd you sell it on?
Gazelle.
Hmm. I I usually go Craigslist, so we'll see.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I kind of looked around on a couple of things. I don't. We've done a lot of stuff on Craigslist.
Mm-hmm.
We're in a new look. You know, the thing with Craigslist is my wife will do it a lot too. So it's like you meet a stranger in a parking lot. And
Yep.
It's like, you know, it's like, it's a little weird. So anyway, I just went the path of least resistance. You could probably do better.
The one thing in most towns have this, and fun fact for anybody who does sell a lot of stuff on Craigslist, in the town I live in, the police station actually has a parking spot or two of them side by side with a camera,
Yes.
like on it that says, designed for online selling, and that's where I tell everyone to meet. Because if somebody doesn't want to meet you at a police station, you probably don't want to meet them anyways. I mean, that's just kind of.
Now that you say that, I want to say Dedham had put one of those in too
Yeah.
before we moved. So irony alert. We don't have a police station in the town I live in. So if you want to steal anything here, it's ideal.
Yeah.
I didn't think such a thing was possible or legal, but there you go.
I think I just figured out how to get my mattress for a lot cheaper.
You might want to get it before it explodes out of the box like one of those
Yeah.
inflatable rafts.
That'll be. I'm gonna be curious. It's like the day when we remodeled our kitchen. I was like 25 or something. I was so happy the day the refrigerator showed up. Like when we got all new appliances, the fridge showed up, and I was so happy. And I was like, wait a minute, youth is gone. That's it.
So my youth is gone moment is when we had our first kid, or he hadn't been born yet, but we realized we had to get rid of the fun car that we had and get something responsible. And we looked at a Jeep first that was clearly not responsible. And so we finally said, look, screw it. We're just going to buy like a sedan. We're going to buy a four-door like a normal couple.
Yep.
And so we bought a Ford Taurus at the time. And I was so outraged by having to drive this non-two-door, non-stick shift monstrosity that I took the airline magazines and barf bags out of a plane and I put them in the back seat of the car, like on both sides, so that it was like being in an airplane. I just hated that I had to buy this. Hated it. You know?
Yeah. Speaking of old man moment, because knock on wood, I don't need a new car for a while. Like, I'm hoping. God,
Yeah.
I would love it if it was 5 years. I'll drive my car into the ground. But I was looking like the new Honda Accord and Toyota Camry. They look really nice, and then I'm like, you know what? I think I would just cut a little deeper.
I just saw that the new Camry. I was like, that actually looks cool. Like Camrys are kind of boring cars, you know. I mean, but they're super reliable. They'll last forever.
Yep.
And now they actually look nice.
Yeah, they don't look like the commuter wagons. I mean, they're sports
the rental
cars.
fleet car or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
And I was
We're
even
doing
looking
our
at a
own.
hybrid, and I was like, oh my god, this is my wife, because she loves to make fun of me. We were looking at I always look at vehicles. I'm sure many people do this. Just whatever you're browsing, and I was like, oh man, I could actually get a hybrid. And she's like, you care about gas mileage? She goes, you are turning into that guy.
Yeah, you got to look at that like so you don't commute, you know, and you got to look at that kind of thing like you would look at solar panels. Like I like the idea. I think it's smart. They're expensive, and then how long would this take to get paid off exactly, or like at what point does this thing kind of break even?
So on the Honda Accord, I can actually tell you it's I think $1,200 to get the hybrid, which takes it from about 32 miles per gallon to 47. So you get about 15 extra mpg. So you
So
can do the math
on the cost. Yeah, that probably isn't too bad. The solar panel one's tough because it's one of those things like I really like the idea, but I will be dead before that thing starts to make sense, and I'm frankly not interested in making a huge investment for the next owner of my house.
Oh yeah, solar panels for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. So they're getting there, but it's not there yet. And then you got to have the right house. And then you got to think about, well, the sun goes down at nighttime.
Yes. Oh, I also have to think about the fact that I have little solar panel powered outside lights, 30% of which don't come on randomly every night. And it's always a different 30%. Like I can't even do that. I'm putting in a floor, by the way, so everything should be fine.
That's why we are all eagerly awaiting the final product.
The floor is just going to kind of slide around, when you walk on it.
It's like, how did you get it in position? Well, I ran and jumped and slid it in there, and that was good enough.
And now there's firewood over in the corner because the floor just got torn up somehow.
Well, folks, as fun as this has been, I think we're going to wrap it up here. We will catch you right back here tomorrow. It should be a live show at 1 p.m. Eastern time, unless the storms take us out.
Yeah.